Instagram. Look out, everybody.
We started promptly.
Yeah, we did. We were very prompt.
We're like, it's 5. We are not
I appreciate
delaying this.
Appreciate our promptness. Okay.
We're trying to stay focused this time. We watched the replay of our last video.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we were a little nervous. We're a little nervous today.
Probably so.
Right? We want to shout out to Design Letters.
Hey, Catherine.
This is...
How are you?
Okay, Catherine.
Yes, we have our Design Letters cups. Here it is. N and S. Although we can't, they look backwards.
Oh, do they?
Well, N and S, it's there, it looks backwards. Dang.
I think it's okay. So, we're just waiting for a couple people to join.
We're just
gonna get going.
Yeah.
This is a hard topic to start with. At least I felt like it was.
Oh yeah, this is a tough one. I mean, we're coming out of the gate very serious.
Yeah.
So, this is something that we're gonna try and keep to around 20 minutes, 25 minutes, but obviously that means I'm pretty sure we're not gonna solve the issues of rejection in 20 minutes. But
we can only speak from our perspectives, obviously.
Yeah.
Certainly, like all of you, we've experienced rejection. That is a common human phenomenon, I would say.
Yes.
I don't think you can avoid it. I think it just is something that happens in human existence, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But as it pertains to singers, and especially young singers, because that's who we're trying to help with this whole series, Norman and I have thought a lot about this. We have...
Hey, Jared. How are you?
Been trying to... We have notes. It's weird, it's like we're lecturers suddenly or something.
Yeah, I know.
I've got my laptop, he's got his iPad. We've prepared notes about...
Exactly.
Not so much about our experiences, because in one sense...
We've tried to basically draw things out of our experiences that might help.
Yeah.
That's what we've done. That rejection is one of those things that's very serious. It has long-lasting effects, and it's something that we all have to deal with, and we have to find our way through it. And so, what we thought we would do is just talk about some of the things that have helped us.
Yes.
We've tried to, over the years and through our experiences, tried to develop and build certain ways of dealing with rejection, and building is very important. It's a very important topic, actually, because we build everything. We build our families, we build our lives, you build your career, you build your finances. Building is a very important part, and so it's also important in deciding or just determining how you're going to deal with issues. Yes. So actually that's another topic, actually, building. It's a good episode, actually.
Yes.
But anyway, so we're basically just going to take we hopefully will have a few things that have helped us that will help you. We certainly don't have all the answers. We're not pretending to, but maybe there's something that would be encouraging to you or helpful. And so that's what we're trying to do. That's the point of all this anyway. This is episode 1 of 743. So
the number's gone up since last time.
No, it was 743.
Oh, was
That's
it?
the number
I thought
from
it was
last
like
time.
742. I don't remember.
Well, 742 was how many were left.
Oh.
So this is episode 1 of 743. So
You're crazy.
The first one is rejection. So anyway.
Should we just dive
Should
in?
we just...
We've been preambling
We've been preambling for a few minutes. I think we should just go for it.
All right, good.
And then,
Do you want to...
people can watch it on the playback or whatever they want to do.
All right.
So, we just have basically I have 4 or 5 things here that I wrote out. And so, first of all, about rejection, this is something that is not particular to our business. It's particular to everybody. It happens to everyone. It touches everybody's life in one way or another, so it's a shared experience. So when it comes to rejection, you're not alone.
That's right.
You're not alone, and which is very that's a very helpful thing. It's an uplifting thing, and which is one of the things.
Well, yeah, I think,
One of the
when we
points.
were discussing this, one of the things that we said, at least in our experiences, is that rejection, when you feel rejected and when you are rejected, because you can feel rejected and you can actually
Be
be
rejected.
rejected.
Yeah,
That's
those are
your
two different
perception.
things. Yeah.
It can feel very, very isolating. And I think that is part of the battle, is to come against that isolation. So, hi everybody that's joining. Hi.
Hello.
Anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go on.
No, keep going. No, I'm just gonna lay out the 5 points that we have here that kind of get an effect or whatever. But one of them is that it happens to everybody, so we're not alone. This reaches everybody. It can attack, or it can mess with your self-worth.
Yes.
It can attack your identity.
Yes.
If we don't have the proper perspective on this thing, it can attack your identity. It can make you unreasonable, can make you an unreasonable person because your perspectives are skewed, and so you'll start reading things that people say or do, and you'll interpret them in a way that they might not be meaning that at all.
Yeah.
And so it can bring about that. It can be unhealthy. It can bring bad health effects. Bring
You can just Google them. We're not going to go into it, but
There are many things.
as we Googled it, we saw there's some, because of the stress that rejection can put on a person. The health effects can be really serious,
physical and mental. It can do all kinds of things. Hey, Garrett.
And particularly depression, and we see a rise in depression.
That's actually just kind of in general.
Yeah. So this is something that we need to address as it pertains to how we deal with rejection, because we're not going to avoid it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in a perfect situation.
Perfect world would be great. Yeah.
But we know that where we live, and just before we got to going live, we were talking about in business, because business is a live organism. It's like it's always changing, it's always moving, and you can't predict necessarily what's going to do. I guess life is just like that.
It is.
Anyway, let's get out of that. I'm sorry,
But-
go back to your
No,
notes.
that's fine. No, just the next thing would be holding on to these things, holding on to any kind of rejection issues can bring feelings of anger that can lead to bitterness. Brings on bitterness and negativity. I've been a person that's been negative, so I get it. And then it can create loneliness, which goes back to our first part. That's why it's so important to know that we're not alone.
I think it's interesting what you said, that it made you. I remember we talked about cynicism and prolonged.
That's another one. That's a good one. Cynicism.
Prolonged
That's another one that's
experiences
good
of disappointment and rejection can lead to cynicism.
Yeah.
In me, I was less cynical and more self-pitying, or my self-worth took a hit.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know how to handle rejection the right way. Because I believe there is a way to handle it that it won't overcome you. But I remember when Norman would go for auditions, we first met, and he would go, and maybe it didn't.
I'm a horrible auditioner.
I mean,
that's another episode.
We'll do a whole thing on that.
It's another episode. I'm a terrible.
He would
auditioner.
go, he wouldn't get the job, he'd come back, and he'd be fine, and I'd be like, how do you do that? And he was literally fine. Now, insofar as he wouldn't, be ruminating on it a week or 2 weeks later, which is what I have done in the past. And so I really observed that, and I was really baffled by it. For a long time, I thought it was just an act. I was like, he's upset. He's just doing the guy thing, not talking about it. No,
I wasn't.
He really didn't. He was over it. He was over it. So
Yeah. Of the few things, there are not many things, but of the few things that I'm good at, that's one of them. Generally.
when you guys were
Not
just
always.
starting out, here's a question. When you guys were just starting out, how did you push past the real no's that you got? Yeah, we're going to address that.
That's a heck of a question right there.
Because it's hard. The thing is,
It's a good one.
the no's don't stop.
No, the no's don't stop.
They don't stop. I understand what you're saying about your first breakthroughs, and I get that. And we will address techniques that we have used push past that and to just build up our feelings of health and you know, mental
A lot of it
wellness
has,
in this
yeah,
business.
and a lot of it has to do with that you have to build yourself up.
Yes.
Because there will always be no's. There will be yeses, but there will always be no's. There will be both. There will be yeses, but there will always be no's that you have to deal with. And so,
Yes.
you
know, and there's
have to
levels to
build
it, right?
yourself up,
Because okay,
yeah.
when you're a really young singer, you're just trying to make your first breaks. You're trying to get your first gigs. You're trying to get an agent. You're trying to build something from the ground up. You know, most of the time. Then you get, let's say, you get established, and then you are dealing with different levels of the business and trying to, you know, make your next break into the, you know, hopefully you're, you know, aiming for a big house one day, and you're trying to level up, so to speak. And then you have to deal with, you know, the press. And anyway, it's on and on. If you are ever exposed to the public eye, if people, I mean, even on something like this, you know, this is just a little podcast thing that we're doing to help people.
Yep.
We already know that by exposing ourselves to, you know, a bigger group of people, giving more access, there's going to be somebody who doesn't like it. That is just the reality of it.
And that's all right.
And
People are free to.
yeah, I mean, I don't like it, but it's fine.
Wow. Okay.
No, you're fine.
She doesn't like it, right? No, it's okay.
Just being honest. Okay, but okay, I think everybody knows what rejection
So
is. We know that
we know what rejection
in
is.
short, rejection.
We've got it. People
Holding
have
on
it.
to the effects of rejection, it'll mess you up.
Yeah.
This is a big point A. All right,
Yeah.
let's go on to what to do about it.
Different things that we and now, like I say, these are things that these are just things that have helped us.
Yes.
If something is helpful in here, grab onto it. If it's not, don't worry about it.
That's right.
But the first thing that I think is really important, and it is something that I've seen in myself and I've seen it in other singers, and this probably actually could apply to many different aspects of life, but we're applying it to this right now. But one of the problems with rejection is that because it can attack your identity, one of the important things to remember as a singer is that singing is what you do, it's not who you are. And that's a huge distinction, but it's really difficult because when you sing, it's in your body. You know, you're singing, you're here, it's in here. And so it's very difficult. And so, but singing is an extension. It is not definition, and there's a huge difference.
It's an extension of your
it is an extension of who
personality
you are,
and your gifting,
personality, who you are as a person. All of that, your identity comes first, and then your artistry, your singing, and all of those things, those come out of your voice, and your artistry is what is used to express who you are. And so, when it comes to then, when people say no, there's that aspect where it changes how personally I take it. Because, actually, let me just hit this because this is part of the same point.
Okay.
And then I'll be done. Sure. Because also, too, most of the time, when you're going in for, an audition, or if you're going in to have a meeting or something, the things going on are not personal. Their intention is not to be hurtful, or, they need people who can do the job well. So
Yes.
they want to.
Well, and also
Yeah.
interjecting, just because you don't get booked for a job doesn't
Yeah.
mean you didn't do a great audition.
That's right. That's
Just saying.
big time. And so that aspect of not taking it personally goes into the fact that most people are not trying to make an attack on you. If something doesn't work out, it's either just a yes or a no.
Yes.
It's not, and they may have thoughts. They may say, okay, we think this might help you, or you could work on this, and you can choose to do with that what you want. But most of the time, and yes, there are exceptions to the rule. There are people who are not nice and who will do things and say things, and that's a separate issue. That's another issue, actually.
Yeah,
but I'm
you
talking
know.
about in general right here, okay?
We all know those
We
people.
all know those people. We all know those people. But in general, people are not intending to be hurtful. They're not intending to reject, you. So those kind of go hand in hand when it comes to not taking things personally. Number one, that's easier said than done.
Yes.
Always. It's always easier said than done. But if you can develop, which is what I tried to do, if you can develop ways to separate those things where you can say, okay, I'm going in, I'm going to do my job, hit the thing, and then if this works out, great. If it doesn't work out, that's okay. And then you move on to the next thing. That can be actually extremely helpful. And you may have to develop that. You may have to learn how to develop that in yourself. But it can be extremely successful, because part of it is that there may be a no now, but if you keep going, there will be a yes.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I have to...
Yeah, get in there. I'm done now. That's
no, you're
my...
good.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
it.
a gig that I'm doing this year is a result of an audition I did like 3 years ago, believe it or not. And I had to just wait. That's a real, I mean, that happens. So, okay, let me get out of that. But there are some, anyway, let me just pivot this way. I think you made a lot of good points about, you know,
Was it clear what I said?
I think so.
Was it clear what I said? Did it make sense? I'm just throwing it out there. Okay.
We're not worried about that.
It's
No, but I think what has helped us especially is establishing things that ground us outside of just being a singer. You know, I remember when I was making my first debuts and things started to roll. Oh, good. Somebody says it made sense. Thanks. I remember thinking, what do I like? What do I like to do?
Yep.
And I know that sounds kind of dumb, but when you've been single-minded about something for a very, very, very long period of time and you finally get there and you haven't developed other parts of your life, that is not good. And I was certainly very guilty of that. You know, when we talk about more about my journey, we can go more into that. But I was so single-minded to the point of like almost being self-destructive that I didn't develop any other part of my life. I mean, even to the point I didn't ever want to get married. I never wanted to have kids. I just was like, career. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a singer. And I was really miserable. I was just really miserable the first few years of my career. I was unhappy. I felt unfulfilled. I really thought that being a singer was like the ultimate. It was going to solve all the problems of my life and that everything would be fine. And it was not. And that's maybe another topic. But on top of that, going through a voice change where you know, at the very beginning of your career, you experience rejection, you're doing all your first auditions. It's hard, you know, it is expensive, it's hard, you're insecure, you don't know what's coming next. And it's funny because I never thought I'd be going through that again after already having established, you know, a career. And I was saying to Norman, man, you know, this time, because I've been doing a lot of auditioning with a new voice change, what's funny is, of course, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed if it doesn't work out. You know, auditions are expensive and you invest a lot of time and energy and money and coaching and you get your hopes up. And of course, that sucks, you know. But I've noticed that it hasn't dragged me down like it once did. And I think this period of waiting in my life where I've had to reevaluate, you know, what is my life about? What do I care about? What are my priorities? It's forced me to look at this question of rejection from a totally different viewpoint because I was completely extricated from the business and I had to deal with my own feelings of self-worth, what defined me as a person, you know, where was I finding value? Like, am I a valuable person if I don't sing? I had to go through all of these questions. And I won't go into all of that because it's very personal, but basically answering those questions when there was nothing on the horizon, I was forced to answer them or just be miserable and bitter and unhappy, which was what I did for a little while, and Norman had to be married to me then.
It was all real fine.
Yeah.
It's okay.
These are some of the things. Now we're just finally, we're getting into the good stuff now. These are some of the things that I did and that I learned from observing Norman. And you know, I'm more emotional than Norman, talk really fast. You know, I have a lot of opinions. Norman asked me before this if he was gonna have to rein me in. I think I've behaved pretty well.
Joking. That was a joke.
No, it's because I really hate seeing people get hurt. It really bothers me.
I hate seeing people get hurt too, by the way.
And I freak out because I
That's right, Izzy Inc., by the way, what you wrote.
Yes.
That's right.
I don't know. Hey, Danilo. I just think everybody, has amazing qualities, and I want to see them all expressed to the fullest, but that's, again, it's not up to me. I can't control that. So here are some of the things that I have done to try not to dive into the muck, basically, after I've been rejected, which has been plenty. Believe it or not. No, okay. Sorry. The first thing, and again, I have not always successfully done this. The first thing is, it is imperative that you resist the urge to be petty. Okay? Even when people suck.
Don't stoop to the level.
Don't do that.
Stay up there.
Because like, I know that the only thing worse than being rejected is being rejected by basically a nasty person who writes nasty things about you. That is not fun. I have not enjoyed that. I also don't think it's like particularly efficient, because then you have to write a long email about XYZ reasons why we didn't get a job, but whatever, okay. Pull out of that real quick. If you are a singer that has management, sorry. This will save you a lot of mental grief. Have your agent just tell you if you got the job or not.
Yeah.
Yes or no. That is the most helpful. If, you know, and you can talk to your manager, and that can go on a person-to-person basis. There might be some times where there's a good point and, you know, your agent has heard it too, and this will help them, you know, oh, if your trill needs to be better. I don't know. You know, there's so many things to work on in your voice that, good Lord. Anyway.
If you're dealing with auditions specifically, you're talking to your agent, you know, all you need to know is yes or no, if it worked or if it didn't. You don't need to know anything else.
Yeah.
Sometimes if it's constructive criticism and it seems like it might help, that's a different thing, because we all need that. It's not that we don't need that kind of work.
Yes.
But most of the time, yes or no, it's all you need. Move on to the next thing.
Yes. You know, if somehow you end up with the nasty feedback and you've got it in front of you and you're having to read those awful words,
Yeah.
if you can, just evaluate if there's anything useful in there. Okay, bye, thank you so much. Awesome. Yeah, catch the replay. Ciao. You know, just see if there's anything that can help you, fine. But then you're stuck with all the junk that makes you feel bad.
Yeah.
So, and that's what we're trying to get rid of, right? I have a small caveat, you know, I'm weary of not just the bad things that people say about me, but the good. I think it's really important, hey Donatella, that you stay grounded, because opinions are opinions. You know, opinions aren't necessarily truth. If somebody tells me, man, you're the greatest, blah, blah, blah in the world, that's probably not true. You know, no, I mean, it's not because I'm not good, but we simply can't know, you know, all of the people in the world. And
We need to answer that question after you.
yeah, I see Ben.
Good question, Ben. We'll answer that in a second.
That is a good question. And I think that being able to rid yourself of, you know, the memory of the nasty things people say is about mental toughness. And you can develop that. You know, you can't control if somebody's going to send you a bunch of nasty stuff, but you can control how you process the information, how you help it to help you. I have read psychology books. I've read sports psychology books. I've read anxiety books. We've done therapy about performance anxiety. I do mental exercises to train myself. You know, if I'm nervous about an audition or whatever, you know, I do a lot of visualization and things like that. That helps me to have peace of mind. To know that I've done the utmost that I can do to evaluate my performance and then go on to the next thing. And this is kind of, I don't want to sound weird or hokey, but like the best thing you can do. Oh, all right. Is it working?
Oh,
The best thing you
Are
can
we still
do
there?
when you are, yeah, we're
Okay,
still on. Okay.
we're good.
Probably
Okay.
lost our connection for a second.
yeah.
Is if you feel like you've been through a long period of rejection and nothing is working, and you know it's starting to eat at you, and you feel any sort of, and that has happened to me, okay? Because you feel like you've done everything you can do. You've been doing the voice lessons, you've been doing the coachings, you've got your arias in good shape. You know, you've been doing the best you can, and there's still no breakthrough and no open doors to you, and you start to feel any kind of bitterness, you have to practice forgiveness. And I know that sounds whatever.
Yeah. It does work though.
It works.
Really does. Really does.
If I forgive somebody, it doesn't mean that I've condoned their behavior, but it's a way to extricate myself from the hurtful situation. And there are lots of ways to do that. One way that I have seen that's effective is I just like write down on a piece of paper what happened, the person's name, and I just say, I forgive that person. And if I don't really mean it when I say it, I do it enough times until I mean it. That has helped. And
It may take time, and that's okay.
Yeah, and there's something cathartic about doing
all
that.
right.
And then just on a practical level, I think it's really important. I mentioned this once on Instagram, to record your coachings, your auditions, and even if you can, your performances, maybe just your aria, like on the side stage or something, so you can objectively hear what people are saying, because maybe there's something. I think this addresses Ben's question a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah.
You can objectively hear, like, maybe my D flat is a little flat, or or maybe this is like this. Because as Ben on Norman's Facebook is asking, do you want your agent just to be a yes man and then leave the feedback to the voice teacher? Yeah, I mean, it's not that we want someone to pander, but if if you're a professional, I mean, we've been doing this for a long time. We know it works. We know it doesn't. I guess the point is that you just need him to relay the information, because he's my business partner. It's not up to him to deal with my voice. He's not a voice teacher. So, if I would say if something consistently keeps on coming back, like your passaggio is weird, or, your F is weird, or that note doesn't work, and it's a consistent thing. Because the thing is, if you start listening to every single opinion that comes, it'll make you crazy. And you just can't pay attention to every single thing that people say. Because even within the run of the same show, if you look at the critics, it'll be like, are people watching the same show? Like it's weird. And so this is about controlling the flow of information and getting you the information that helps build you up, and just removing the stuff that does not. I'm sorry, I feel like you wanted to say something.
No, all I was gonna say is you don't need him to just be a yes man. It is, I mean, actually, Sula said it. If there are consistent things that keep coming up, that's a different thing. Oftentimes a singer knows how they did, if they were medium, if they were great, if, on their level.
Well, that's why the recording is really good.
And the recording is a great idea.
Lie.
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh.
But also, too, and this goes into, I won't want to jump in your point. Were you finished with your point?
Yeah, with that, I was finished.
Okay.
I mean...
But one of the things that this is one of the important things. This is really big. For me, it's been big. Keep the people that can speak into your life small.
Yeah, the group of people.
The group of people. In our business, it's a subjective business. It is an objective business. Everybody has an opinion about something, and that's...
Well, you just said two different things.
Yeah, some people are objective, some people are subjective.
But it's largely subjective.
But it's largely subjective.
Yeah.
And so part of the reason we say, when you get things and you get feedback and things, say yes or no, is because you want to keep your group of trusted people small.
Yes.
So that's going to be your voice teacher. That is going to be your agent. Your agent's going to be in that group. As a singer, it's going to be your agent. It's going to be your voice teacher. It's going to be your partner. It's going to be your maybe a couple of friends, maybe one or two coaches. But the group will always be small. Now, as you progress, that group may change. Different people may start to be able to do that. But it will still always be small. We can't have everybody talking into our lives.
Yeah, and the point is that you do need people. I think that's when I was sort of researching this topic a little bit too. That was the number one thing that I saw was a remedy, besides, going to therapy, which, eventually some people need to do, that you do need someone to talk to. And I think that is effective. Actually, that's one of my points here, that, if you've done what you can do and you still feel lousy about something, go to a trusted family member, go to your friend, your mentor, your coach, if you have a partner, But here's the caveat: just do it once. Express yourself, and then the best you can. Use your self-control, not to keep repeating it. You know, every time you speak about a hurtful event, your body has to relive it. I'm talking about your nervous system and cortisol levels and all this junk. Like, you do not want to put your body through that over and over again. I think this is not just for singers. I think that's for people. You know, when you speak about your hurts and wounds over and over again, you have to relive them. And some things, you know, I'm talking about, if there's like a serious problem, of course you need to go and have that dealt with. But, you know, we live in an epidemic age now where everybody shares their opinion all the time, and people are riled up all the time, and people are upset all the time, and there's a lot of strife. And so anyway, I feel like I'm going on a tangent, but confide in someone you trust. Just try your best not to keep revisiting it, and look to the thing that's coming next.
No.
That's
good.
Okay, and there's one more. I have one last point.
We're at 30 minutes, by the way.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
We gotta wrap this thing
One
up.
last point.
I got one too, but
Do
it's
you?
actually good. So we have to go these 2 points fast, and then we're out. Ben,
Okay.
by the way, did that answer your question at all? Because if it didn't, private message me and we can talk about it.
Good.
Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, read your last point, and then I'll read mine because I know mine's more ridiculous.
Okay, so mine is put the and not everybody. Some people just do this naturally. Others, it's just different for everybody. But do your best to prioritize the business in the right way.
Yes.
Do your best to prioritize your singing in the right way. So it's not, you know, it's not your world. It's
Ben says sure thing.
oh, good, yeah. But it's a wonderful job. It is a helpful job. It is, you know, people get help from it. They're moved by what we do, and that's great. And that's why we do what we do.
Yes.
But you know, there are other things that you want to prioritize above that. Your family, your relationships,
Hey, Bonnie.
your health, you know, your mental health, your health is extremely important. So there are things that you want to make sure are above that. And I realize that the argument can be made that the greatest artists are people that, you know, are tortured or broken people, and we can all think of amazing artists.
Oh, I got a yes and amen on mine.
Yes, there
Bonnie.
you go.
I like that.
And we all know artists that were that way, and that's amazing. But my question then is, you know, what's the quality of life when that's happening? You know, what is that person experiencing internally
Yes.
to do that? And to me, I mean, this is just my opinion,
Hi, Emma.
but to me, your life is going to win out every time. You know, how you feel in your life, how you live your life, the freedom you have in your life,
Yes.
you know, all of those things are going to win out over this. And this is a great job. I mean, you have to focus on it and you have to go after it. And that's great, and do it. But just remember that, you know, if you can balance those things out, and it will bring a greater health, and then you will have, and to me, you will actually have more to draw on than to express. You know, if my family life, you know, all of these things, all of the life feeds what we do. So, hey, Reggie, what up? So anyway, that's my point. Prioritize it. Go.
Okay.
This is the last point. We're done.
So.
Sorry,
this
mine
is-
ran a little long there.
No.
I apologize.
We've run. I think we are 14 minutes over what we wanted to do. It's fine.
14 minutes over.
Yeah.
Boy, we were close to hitting our mark, weren't we?
Yeah, that's right, Bonnie. We're human beings, and here's the thing. Like, why are we even doing this? We are doing this because we want everybody to have a good life.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, last year after the experiences that Norman had. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Daniel.
You know, he was sick a lot. There was a lot of pressure on him. And I remember even saying, like, if things don't change, I am pulling you out of this, and we're going to
That's
go
true.
get a farm or something.
She said, wait,
I
if
will
it doesn't
take you out
change,
of
we're
this.
getting out of here and doing something else, folks.
You know, because I love him too much for him not to have the best life possible. Hi, Daniel. But this is my honest to goodness reaction. Somebody's probably gonna laugh at me.
Get ready.
It's fine.
This is Sula Parasitis answer right here.
Okay. And as somebody who, like I said, I've experienced a good deal of rejection. This is my my first reaction is, man, that sucks, and I get kind of mad about it. Okay, if I'm just honest.
Sure.
But my second reaction is, well,
You can just say it, baby. It's
okay. I try to add value where I go. I try to brighten up people's days. I try to be kind and fun. I try to be generous, supportive. I like to cheer on my colleagues. And so, that takes work. So if somebody doesn't invite me somewhere for an engagement or something else, I'm just like, you don't get to spend time with me. That's sad.
And
that's sad for you.
That's funny.
And
it's true though. She's fun to hang out with.
Anyway, and I'm like, you don't get
There
to
you
be
go.
with all of this fun. And
she is like this all the time, by the way. Pretty much.
And
Pretty much.
and anyway, okay. But
So-
if you feel well about yourself and you do these exercises we talked about forgiveness and just training your mind and doing the best you can. When you've prepared well for your work and you've done your utmost, don't let that discourage you. Let it encourage you, knowing that, hey, I did everything I can do.
Yeah.
They didn't invite me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let it, one of the things, if you can turn rejection on itself and use it to motivate you and use it to fuel you to be better, use it to fuel you to be a better person, use it to fuel you to work harder, to focus. And that's a hard thing to do. That is a hard thing to do. So this is easy to say and not easy to do. But the more these things you can turn it on its head, the more you can turn it over to use it as a tool,
Yes.
to focus it and to take it and to take control of it, to lay hold of it, which you can do. It will benefit you, and there will be good things that will happen in your life because of it.
That's right. And
So-
then one day you can go on Instagram Live and encourage somebody else.
Then you can do this and just encourage somebody. So there you go.
Okay.
Although you can probably do that now. So
Yeah.
There you
Okay.
go.
This was not an easy topic to cover, but we felt like out of all the questions we got,
Yeah.
this was a theme, and we wanted to do our best to say something about it.
we hope this was in some way helpful
Yes.
and clear.
And next week will be a much lighter topic
Yep.
when we talk about what it's like to be two singers married. And what?
We're married.
Hello.
What's it like to be married to an opera singer?
I want to see what this comment is on Facebook. I agree. Thanks for sharing and being vulnerable. These things are so true for many areas of life, and certainly not just for singers.
And
I think there's universals there. Again,
that's part of what we were trying to
do. Yeah, I was like,
There's a little bit universal, part of it singers.
I nearly was like, how
Tried to do a
many
little bit of
singers
both.
are here?
Yeah, that's true.
And Ben's gonna tune in.
Oh, Ben, great. Thanks, man.
The truth is, I didn't have to ask how many singers have experienced rejection. I could just be like, anybody watching, have you experienced rejection? Like every single person's hand should have gone up because you're a human and you're living in this world. And so anyway, getting out of that, we will be here next week talking about what that's like, some of the quirks, some of the ways that we make it work, and
What do we? I haven't even thought about. I have thought about it. I don't know.
what?
Here we go. Nothing. I don't know.
You haven't thought about what it's like to be married to a singer?
No, of course I've thought about it.
It's going to be easier because...
It's gonna be easier. It'll be funner. We'll laugh more.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But thank you so much for watching today.
Thank you so much.
I hope this helped somebody.
Yeah.
And feel free to submit. Same day,
Yes,
same
same.
time. I realize that this time might not work when we start working again. But
we'll
for
figure
next
it out.
week, it'll be same day, same time.
Next
Wednesday
week.
at 5 p.m.
Yep.
Vienna time, CET, 11 a.m. Eastern
East
Standard
Coast.
Time.
Yep.
And we just want to thank everybody for watching. And please feel free to submit more questions. Yeah, you're so welcome, Bonnie. And we do have a lot to get through that we already got from earlier submissions.
But again, we've got 742 more episodes to do.
So anyway, if you have like a really pressing topic that you think somehow we can be useful and answer that question, feel free to write us on either Instagram or Facebook.
Absolutely.
And otherwise, we will see you next time.
Yeah. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.